And they said what we did in the Bronx, no one would care about it in Kansas. Thank you so much to Dennis Romero. Thank you to the Honorable Cale Finney. Thank you to the community of Wichita. And thank you to the people of Kansas. Thank you all very much. I also want to thank James Thompson for inviting me out here. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Whipple. Miss Whipple, I swear that's her name. I swear this is a true story. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Whipple, was a native Kansan. And she loved her state fiercely. She let every single 10-year-old in her 5th grade class that ever walked through her doors know that Kansas was one of the greatest states in this nation. She did. And this is also a true story. When I was in the 5th grade, our class, we had to do state projects. And Miss Whipple assigned me the state of Kansas. And she was tough. You know, New Yorkers have a reputation, but Miss Whipple was tough. And it was, you know, I was nervous about doing this project, and I was thinking, and I had to do all of this research, and after reading a lot about wheat as a 10-year-old, I learned a little bit more about the history and the character of this state. I learned that Kansas was founded in a struggle over the conscience of this nation. It was when we were deciding who we wanted to be as a country. It was when we were deciding who we wanted to be with the Kansas-Nebraska Act. The people who penned and were leading this nation said, you decide to the people. You decide. Are we going to be a slave state, or are we going to be a free state? And it was in 1861 that the people of Kansas decided that we were going to be a free nation. And that is who they wanted to be. That Kansans decided that fate for themselves. And that is the crucible and the soul of this state. Don't let anyone forget it. Today, because you are carrying the candle of hope for this country. You are too. Because back then, the people of Kansas were the tipping point for the future of this nation, and today they are again. In the ability of every person in this room to knock on their neighbor's door. I am confident in your ability to walk your block, to connect with people over the future that we want as a nation, because we want to be a nation that allows improved and expanded Medicare for all. Until every child is born with the opportunity to go to college or trade school free of cost. And we will not rest until every person in this country is paid a living wage to lead a dignified life. said the people of Kansas don't want those things. They told me that I would not be welcome. But you have proven them wrong. And you will continue to prove them wrong when on November 6th, you elect James Thompson to Congress. Just as it was in 1861, what this moment requires of us is for everyday people to do more than they have ever done before to reclaim the soul of this nation. So if you have never knocked on a door before, I am talking to you. If you have never phone banked before or invited your friends over for a phone bank before, I am talking to you. If you have never given $5 to your favorite candidate before, I am talking to you. Because it is in your hands that the future of this nation will be decided. We all know in our hearts what we have to give. We all know in our hearts what we are capable of. We all know if we've got one more door in us, if we have one more conversation, if we can invite some folks to dinner and convince them to vote. We all know what we have inside of us between now and November 6th. And what I am here to do is to ask you to leave it on the field. Leave it all on the field. Leave what you have to give on the field, because this is the defining moment, not just for the state of Kansas, but for this nation. Kansas has delivered before, and it will deliver again this year. And if, as everyday people, we remain steadfast, earnest, and committed to the work of change, if we knock on our neighbor's door, if we listen to their needs, if we respect the rights of others and champion the dignity of our neighbors, then I am confident that what is right is what will win in the United States of America. Work to make it happen, because that is how we beat big money, that is how we beat corporations, that is how we beat lobbyists. That is how we defeat the forces that profit off of despair in our nation by lighting the candle, holding it, and doing the work of hope. That is what we do. That is how we change. This candle and to let it burn brightly for the next few months. That is what we must do. And hope is not something that it is found, it is something that is made. Hope is something that is made. We make our own hope. We create hope when we knock on our neighbor's door. We create hope with every conversation, because that conversation can never be unhad. Those doors can never be unknocked, and the power will never go away. So the work that you are doing is worthwhile. The work that you are doing every day is worthwhile. And you all are very, very lucky and very blessed to have James Thompson as a candidate here. That so truly, authentically, and deeply cares for the needs of working class people and fights for the dignity of his neighbors. We're very lucky. And we're very lucky to have someone brave enough to run in this district too. But that's what it takes. Change takes courage. Change takes guts. Change takes the first 5 people that said, I will choose to believe. That is what change takes. That is what James has, and that is what you have, and that is what you have given the state of Kansas. So, I want to thank you all for having me, for welcoming me into your community, for your hospitality, and for showing that girls from the Bronx are welcome everywhere. Because what you have shown me and what we will show in the Bronx is that working people and Kansans share the same values as working people anywhere else. We can work. Wherever there is working class people, there is hope for the progressive movement. And because of that, hand it over to the great hope, one of the great hopes of Kansas, James Thompson. Thanks.
That is why we are going to come together to transform this country politically and economically. To expose Donald Trump for the pathological liar that he is. Tell the truth about what country his father was born in. When Trump ran for president, and I know he spent time here and all over the Midwest, he ran and he said, I am going to represent working families. I'm going to stand up to the establishment. He lied. Trump, during his campaign, he said, we are going to provide health care to everybody. Remember that? Well, Mr. Trump, you're not providing health care to everybody when you support legislation that throws 32 million people off of the health care they have. During the campaign, Trump said, I am a different type of Republican. I am not going to cut Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid. That is what he said to the people of Kansas and the people of Vermont, and he lied. A few months ago, he brought forth a budget which called for $1 trillion cut to Medicaid, $500 billion cut to Medicare, and tens of billions of dollars in cuts to the Social Security Disability Insurance Fund. During the campaign, Trump said that we're going to pass tax reform that are not going to benefit the wealthy, just working families. Well, he lied again. 83% of the benefits of his tax program over a 10-year period are going to go to the top 1%, and that tax bill is going to increase the deficit by well over $1 trillion. So we say to Donald Trump and Paul Ryan and the Republican leadership, don't think for a minute that you are going to give tax breaks to billionaires and then come back and cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and education. Ain't gonna happen. You know, a few weeks ago, when Trump's immigration policies resulted in little children being torn from the arms of their mothers, Trump said that is a sign of his strength. And we say to the president, that is not a sign of strength, that is a sign of moral weakness. And we say to Trump, instead of showing us your strength by tearing children from their families, where was your strength in standing up to Putin and Russia? How courageous he is to tear children from their families. How cowardly he is to stand up to people who are trying to undermine not only American democracy, but other aspects of our lives. Now, the very good news, and I see it here in Wichita today, the good news is that all over this country, from coast to coast, people are standing up, fighting back, not only against Trump, but for an agenda that works for the working families of this country. Teachers get out of their classroom, go on strike to demand decent education for their kids. We have seen young people, led by those brave kids from Parkland High School in Florida, who suffered such a tragic experience, but they didn't get depressed, they didn't give up, they fought back for sensible gun safety legislation, and that is happening all over the country. We have seen low-income workers in the fast food industry and elsewhere stand up and tell the country they cannot make it on a starvation minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. We've got to raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. And that is precisely what is happening all over this country. States, communities raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. When we talk about wages, We all know that it is not acceptable that women earn 80 cents on the dollar compared to men. And by the way, we happen to believe that it is a woman, not the government, who has a right to control our James touched on it, Alexandria touched on it. Everybody here knows we live in a very competitive global economy. And that for our young people to secure the good paying jobs that are out there, they need a higher education. And that is why, once again, what we are seeing now from coast to coast are cities, states moving in the direction of making public colleges and universities tuition free. And substantially lowering the oppressive burden of student debt carried by millions of Americans. Opponents, they'll tell us, well, that's a great idea, Bernie, but it's going to cost a lot of money. And they're right. These proposals are expensive. But we say to them, making higher education available to all Americans, regardless of incomes, is a hell of a lot better investment than giving tax breaks to billionaires.
Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, and Rikers Island, Alexandria, Ocasio, Cortez.
Industrialized world, 50 miles away from where I live in Burlington, Vermont, all over the industrialized world, countries understand that health care is a right, not a privilege. All over the world, people understand that what goes on in America in terms of health care is totally crazy. Can you imagine 1 out of 5 patients in this country cannot afford the prescription drugs their doctors prescribe? That is why, whether Trump likes it or not, we are going to take on the drug companies and their greed. And that is why, with allies like Alexandria and James in the Congress, we are going to pass a Medicare for all. And please understand that this idea of Medicare for all, this is not a radical idea. The last poll that I saw a month or two ago has 63% of the American people supporting Medicare for all. Brothers and sisters, you have an extraordinary opportunity to send a message to Washington that will be heard all over this country. And that message is that in a so-called conservative state, the people in Kansas demand a government that works for them, not just the Koch brothers. But for James to win, he is going to need your help. Now, I am told that there are some 3,000 people here this afternoon. If each of you does nothing more than reach out to your family, to your friends, to your co-workers, and bring in 3 people who otherwise would not have voted, that is 9,000 more votes for James Thompson. James is also going to need your help in knocking on doors and doing social media and getting on the telephone. Brothers and sisters, this country is in the midst of a political revolution. People are tired of the status quo, and they are tired of government policy which only benefits the 1%. Let us stand together here in Kansas, in Vermont, and in the Bronx. Let us transform our economic and political system. Let us elect James Thompson to the Congress.
Bronx, Queens, and Rikers Island, Alexandria, Ocasio, Cortez.
Crowd and are quaking in your boots. Because we're coming for you. And I will ask you yet again, Ron Estes, will you agree to 17 debates, 1 in each county in this district, or are you going to continue to hide? Very simple, Ron. Show up or shut up. Will everybody here stand with me in 2018? Let's get to work.
told me that Kansas was a Republican state. Doesn't look like that today. Thank you all for coming out. This is a fantastic turnout, and I am delighted to be here to help make James Thompson the next congressman from the 4th District. James's story, you just heard it. He is a veteran. He worked his way up from dire poverty. He has never forgotten where he came from. He has spent his career fighting for civil rights, for workers' rights, and for equal rights for all Americans. So proud to be here this afternoon with Alexandria, Ocasio, Cortez. And I have no doubt that what Alexandria did in the Bronx, James and you are going to do right here. Importantly, I am honored to be here with all of you. And I want to take this moment to thank the people of Kansas for the very strong support they gave me during the Democratic presidential campaign. Victories in 21 of the states, 13 million votes, made ideas that were once considered to be radical part of the mainstream conversation. And the reason that I am here, and I know that Alexandria is here, is because many of the media pundits, they have divided this country up between so-called blue states and so-called red states. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that every state in this country where working people are struggling for a decent life is a state that will fight for justice. And whether you live in Vermont or the Bronx or Kansas, you are outraged by a situation in which 3 people in this country own more wealth than the bottom half of America. While at the same time, people in Vermont and in the Bronx and Kansas cannot afford child care, cannot afford health care, cannot afford prescription drugs, cannot afford to send their kids to college. And our message today is that we are going to create a government which represents all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. In which the rich are getting much richer while most people struggle. It is a corrupt campaign finance system. The American people from coast to coast do not believe that a handful of billionaires led by your neighbors here in Wichita, the Koch brothers, should be able to spend in this midterm election alone $400 million to help elect candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful. We believe that democracy is about one person, one vote. And not billionaires buying elections. That I am so excited and really happy to be here in Kansas. I love you too. And the reason that I am excited to be here is we are going to show the world with James's victory that whether you live in Vermont or the Bronx or Kansas, we share common hopes and aspirations that are much greater than the superficial differences that may separate us. That despite Trump's efforts every single day to divide us up based on the color of our skin, or the country we came from, or our religion, or our sexual orientation, that despite Trump's efforts, we are going to stand together in Vermont, in Kansas, whether we're black or white or Latino or Asian American. Alexandria's mother, as I understand it, came from Puerto Rico. My father came from Poland. Some of your family came from Germany or Ireland, came from countries all over the world. And that coming together is what makes America a unique and great country. Despite what Donald Trump thinks. Here in Kansas and in my state of Vermont, we got families struggling to find quality, affordable child care. That is a Kansas issue. It is a Vermont issue. In Kansas and in Vermont, we have people who are working 2 or 3 jobs to keep their heads above water economically. That is a Kansas issue. That is a Vermont issue. In Kansas, we have families who cannot afford health care, who cannot afford the prescription drugs they need. That is a Kansas issue. That is a Vermont issue.
Alexandria. I really didn't want to come out here and speak after that. I was a little scared after that. It's phenomenal. I really do want to thank everybody here, everybody who took off from work to come out and miss their pay, to come out and see this, to see Alexandria, to see the senator, to see me. Thank you. It's because of you that we're here. I would also be remiss in not thanking the incredible staff and volunteers and supporters here as well. You guys are phenomenal. And most importantly, I want to make sure I thank my family. My wife and daughters have probably suffered more than anybody else because of this. Putting up with late nights, me not being home, not doing dishes, not closing the cabinets, all those things that I should be there for and I'm not, and they're making the biggest sacrifice of all. So Lisa, Liberty, thank you so much. All right, everybody, where are my veterans at? Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for continuing to support me. And thank you for everything that you do for this country. Where are my teachers at? Make this country great. You don't get the appreciation you deserve, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to every single teacher who puts it on the line every day. Finally, where are all my union people at? Unions, thank you so much for your support. You are the way that we get our country back. You are the way that we protect our middle class and protect our workers. And thank you for all that you do to make sure that you are a wall between us and the fascists that run this country sometimes. Yes, I am James Thompson. I am a civil rights attorney and a U.S. Army veteran. And I'm running for Congress here in the 4th District of Kansas because...
Hold your mouth! You're gonna win!
With your help, I know I can. I know that we can win with your help. But me standing up on the stage is really kind of an amazing journey for me to get here. Statistics say I shouldn't be here. Statistics say I should probably be in jail somewhere because of the way I grew up. I grew up in poverty. I was homeless at one point. I didn't have a good upbringing. I went to 16 different schools. I had to fight all the time, literally and figuratively. And it's just part of growing up in poverty. And so when I see people that are struggling, I talk about it, I'm not talking about it from up on a hill somewhere. I'm talking about it because I know what it's like to struggle to make ends meet, what it's like to have to choose between paying for food for your kids or paying the rent. And obviously we couldn't pay our rent a lot when we were growing up, and that's why we moved around so much. But those things are what allows me, I think, to understand why we've got to change things in this country. Because if basic people... If basic things can't even be achieved by people, we can't have, if people can't get a living wage to support their family, if they can't get medical care, or they can't get an education for their kids, then what the hell is it all for in the first place? We do work just as hard. We actually work harder. But you know, it's not even about Republican or Democrat or independent to me. It's about all of us coming together because we're working people trying to make ends meet. When I was homeless and I lived in Florida, I kept this dream of being something someday, of being able to get out of that poverty. And we were washing clothes in a canal and bathing in a canal and fishing for dinner out of a canal because we didn't have anywhere else to go and anywhere else to do it. But I had a dream that someday I could have a normal life, quote normal. And but I knew that things had to change. And so when we moved back to Oklahoma, I became emancipated. I went back to school. I worked full-time going to school and attended school. And still, even though I dropped out of school when we were in Florida so I could support my family, I managed to graduate on time through hard work and because of a teacher who made a difference. Chuck Tweed was a high school teacher of mine who recognized that there was something in me, I guess, that was worth saving. And he convinced me and made me realize that to get out of poverty, I had to get educated. And he instilled that in me and he kept me on a somewhat straight and narrow. And we were able to get me through high school, graduate on time with my class. I'm proud to have a couple of my high school friends in here somewhere. I'm not sure where they're at, but it's kind of crazy. But I knew I had to pay for it some way, so I went in the military. Because the military for me was the way out of that poverty. It was a way to pay for college. It was a way to escape the abuse and the drugs that surrounded me where I grew up. It was a way to make things change. And I'm so thankful that we had that opportunity, or that I had that opportunity to go in the military, because I learned things about discipline and honor and courage and standing up for what you believe in and fighting for what you believe in, regardless of what somebody else is telling you. The other wonderful thing about the military, though, and every veteran in here I'm sure will agree with me, is that you learn to work together with people from all walks of life, all colors, all religions, all beliefs. You learn to work together to accomplish. So when we talk about running for Congress here, I'm asking everybody to come together. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care who you voted for in 2016. What I'm asking for you to do is to vote for me and to believe in me and to come together so that we can make a difference in this state. This past week has been really amazing, actually. We've had all kinds of political pundits and hacks from around the country that have been sounding off about what they think Kansas is. Most of them don't know squat. So. The Kansas I know is full of people on both sides of the aisle that love each other, that will take the shirt off their back to help you out, that stand up and are good, solid people. And that is what Kansas is to me. So when people want to say that this is Trump country, I say hell no. They tell me, well, you should be more centrist. You should try to basically be a Republican light. Well, I'm not Republican light. If our state wanted Republican light, then we would have elected somebody in the past 20 years as a Democrat here. But I looked at what we've been doing in our district, and that doesn't work. If a centrist message would have worked, and Hillary Clinton would have won here in 2016. We win not by trying to label each other. We win by coming together and talking about the things that mean something to all of us. Those basic needs. A livable wage. A $15 wage minimum. Stand up for what's not just morally right, but financially right, and Medicare for all. I've seen so many of my relatives that have died because they didn't have preventative health care and they had cancer or other diseases, and I'll be damned if I'm going to allow that anymore once I get to Congress. When we get to Congress, we will get Medicare for all. Somebody that graduated from law school with $120,000 in school debt, I know what that burden is like for our students. Coming out of school with a mortgage already and then trying to buy a home, raise a family is extremely, extremely hard, and it puts people into... It's
impossible!
It's impossible. There you go. You can't get ahead. You got to focus on growing out there. We can't have that. We need to do something better for the people. We need to stop running around and trying to be something we're not. We need to actually listen to the people that we're representing. When we talk about raising money for our state, here's an idea: legalize marijuana. Stand up for what's right. How about you stand up for our veterans? Our veterans are dying at the rate of 22 a day, PTSD, and not getting the care that they deserve because we have a Congress that fails to do its damn job, and it's time for that to stop. I want all of you to make sure that you go out and do the things that Alexandria was talking about, that you get out and that you're canvassing. It's through you that we're going to win this. I'm just a figurehead. You are the way that we flip this district. You are the ones that can make the changes that you want. You are the ones that have the power in this country. It's not with the Koch brothers. It's not with the big corporations. It comes from you. Medicare for all, that we do get a $15 minimum wage, that we do get education for our citizens, that we have the ability to stand up and have the life that America has promised. We can be everything that America should be, but it takes hard work. I've been busting my backside for the last year and a half, making sure I got out to every rural county and making sure I'm talking to everybody that I can, because I know that the congressman that's in office right now sure as hell won't do it.